All right, let's get straight into this because this Exynos 2600 leak is kind of crazy, and I don't say that lightly. A new leak just dropped on X from Ice Universe, now known as Phone Art, and from what we're seeing so far, Samsung might finally be serious again with Exynos, and I mean really serious. If even half of this leak is true, this chip could be powerful enough for PC game emulation, Nintendo Switch games, Xbox 360 games, and heavy mobile games on very high graphics. That's a massive statement, especially when you remember how bad Exynos used to be compared to Snapdragon. Now, let me break everything down in simple terms so everyone understands what's going on here. First, let's talk about the CPU, because this is where things already start getting interesting. The Exynos 2600 is rumored to have a 10-core CPU. Yes, 10 cores. Most flagship chips today use 8 cores, so Samsung is clearly going all out here. More cores means better performance when you're doing heavy stuff like gaming, video editing, emulation, and multitasking. Now here's how those 10 cores are split. The setup is 1 big core plus 3 performance cores plus 6 efficiency cores. Think of it like this: 1 super powerful core for really heavy tasks, 3 strong cores for gaming and performance, and 6 small cores for battery saving and everyday use. This kind of setup is made to be fast and efficient. Now let's talk about clock speeds, because numbers matter here. That 1 big core is rumored to run at around 3.8 GHz to 3.9 GHz. Some reports said 3.9 GHz, but others corrected it to 3.8 GHz, saying Samsung's new 2nm process can't safely go higher without using too much power. And honestly, 3.8 GHz is still very high for a mobile chip. The 3 performance cores run at 3.25 GHz, which is also very strong, and the 6 efficiency cores run at 2.75 GHz, which helps with battery life when you're just scrolling, chatting, or watching videos. So overall, this CPU is clearly built for multi-core power, meaning it should destroy tasks that use many cores at once. That's great news for emulation and heavy gaming. Now here's where things get even more exciting. This chip is built on Samsung's 2nm GAA process. In simple terms, this is Samsung's most advanced chip technology ever. Smaller number means better efficiency and better performance. 2 nanometers means less heat, better battery life, more power without killing your phone. This is Samsung's chance to prove they can compete with TSMC, the company that makes Snapdragon chips. If Samsung gets this right, Exynos might finally stop being the bad version of Galaxy phones. Now let's move to the GPU, because this is the part that made me sit up straight. The Exynos 2600 is rumored to use a new AMD GPU called Juno. Yes, AMD. Samsung has been working with AMD for a while now, and this is the next step of that partnership. This GPU is clocked at 985 MHz, and it supports Vulkan 1.3, OpenGL 3.2, OpenCL 3.0. Now, I know those names sound boring, but here's why they matter. These are the same kinds of tech used for PC games and console games. That means better graphics, better lighting, better shadows, better performance in emulators. This is exactly why people are talking about Switch emulation, PC emulation, and Xbox 360 emulation on this chip. Now, here's something a bit confusing. Earlier leaks said the Exynos 2600 would use the Xclipse 960 GPU, but now this leak is calling it AMD Juno. So what's going on? Two possibilities. Juno is just another name for Xclipse 960, or Samsung changed plans and upgraded the GPU. Right now, no one knows for sure, but either way, the important part is this. Samsung is still using AMD graphics, and that's a good thing. AMD GPUs are known for raw power, especially in gaming. Now let's talk about real-world use, because specs don't matter if they don't change your experience. If this leak is accurate, the Exynos 2600 should be able to run heavy Android games at very high graphics, handle long gaming sessions without heating up, do PC and console emulation much better than before, and compete directly with Snapdragon 8 Gen 5. And that last point is huge. For years, Exynos has been behind Snapdragon in gaming, heat control, and performance stability. But with 10 cores, 2nm tech, and an AMD GPU, Samsung might finally close that gap, or even beat it in some areas, especially in multi-core performance. Now, about power draw. Some insiders are saying Samsung is testing a slightly more powerful version, but the problem is power usage. Going past 3.8 GHz on 2nm can cause huge power draw, and that means heat and battery drain. So Samsung has to be careful here. Performance is useless if your phone gets hot in 10 minutes. But if Samsung balances this properly, this could be their best Exynos chip ever. And here's the final interesting part. A previous rumor says the Exynos 2600 could be officially launched by the end of January, so we don't have long to wait. Very soon, we'll find out if these specs are real, if the AMD GPU is truly this powerful, and if Exynos is finally back. Because let's be honest, if Exynos 2600 can truly handle high-end gaming, emulation, and compete with Snapdragon, this changes everything for Samsung phones. No more Snapdragon region lucky, Exynos region unlucky. This might finally be one Galaxy chip for everyone, and that alone would be a massive win. Now we wait and watch Samsung make their next move.